Have you ever noticed how your state changes after a walk in the forest? As if someone reboots your soul. This is no coincidence. The ancients knew a secret that modern science is only beginning to understand. Nature is not just a backdrop for our selfies. It's a living teacher that has been passing secret knowledge about spiritual growth to humanity for centuries. And today I will reveal these secrets to you. Secrets that will change your understanding of the connection between nature and your soul. Imagine that every tree, every river, every mountain is a portal to your inner self. Sounds incredible? Stay until the end, and you'll learn not only theory, but also specific practices you can apply today. This will be a 15-minute journey after which you will never be the same. I'll share 13 secret knowledge principles, ancient techniques, and personal transformation stories with you. Get ready to open the door to a new dimension of your life. Let's start with something most people don't even suspect. Nature speaks to us, constantly, in a language we've forgotten how to understand. Our ancestors knew this language. Siberian shamans spent weeks in the taiga to receive spiritual revelations. Tibetan monks meditated on mountain peaks to achieve enlightenment. Ancient European druids considered trees to be living libraries of wisdom. They all understood one fundamental truth. Nature is a mirror of our soul. When you look at a turbulent river, you see your emotions. When you observe a calm lake, you feel the possibility of inner peace. But here's what's interesting. Modern science has begun to confirm what mystics have known for millennia. Research shows that our brain literally synchronizes with natural rhythms. This is not a metaphor, it's a measurable physiological process. The first secret knowledge: nature synchronizes our internal rhythms. In the city, we live by artificial time. Clocks, deadlines, notifications. Our soul suffocates in this rhythm. But as soon as you spend an hour in the forest, something changes. Your breathing slows down. Thoughts become organized. Your heart begins to beat in time with the surrounding life. This is not poetry, it's a scientific fact. The Japanese call this Shinrin-yoku. Forest bathing studies have shown that even 20 minutes among trees reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone, by 30%. But the ancients knew more. They understood that trees are antennas between heaven and earth. Their roots go deep into the earth, and their crowns touch the heavens. They literally connect two worlds, the material and the spiritual. When you hug a tree, you're not just touching bark, you're connecting to a system that has existed for millions of years. You become part of a network of life that is much larger than your ego. When you embrace a tree, you're not simply touching bark. You're plugging into a system that has existed for millions of years. You become part of a web of life that is far greater than your ego. Recent research has shown that trees communicate with each other through an underground network of mycelium. Scientists call this the wood wide web. The forest internet. Mother trees share nutrients with young ones. They warn each other of danger. Imagine this. A forest is not a collection of separate trees. It's a single organism, a living system of mutual support. And when you enter a forest, you enter this system. You become part of this network of love and care. The second secret knowledge concerns the elements: fire, water, earth, air. These are not just elements. They are archetypes of soul transformation. Each element carries a special lesson for your spiritual path. Fire symbolizes purification and transformation. It's no coincidence that rituals with fire exist in all cultures. When you look into a campfire's flame, your mind enters a meditative state. The dance of fire hypnotizes the logical mind and opens the door to intuition. I remember once sitting by a campfire after a difficult period in my life, just watching as the flames consumed the wood. And suddenly I understood. Fire doesn't destroy the tree. It transforms it into heat, light, and energy. The same energy that was in the tree simply changes form. That's when I realized that my difficulties weren't destroying me. They were transforming me into something new. Fire taught me not to fear change. Water teaches us flexibility and acceptance. A river doesn't fight the stones in its path. It flows around them for years, for centuries. And eventually the stone turns to sand, while the water remains water. This is an incredibly powerful metaphor for life. Imagine a person who lost their business. They can become hard as stone, resisting reality. Or they can become flexible like water, finding a new path. Nature shows us both options and the consequences of each. But water teaches us another secret, the power of softness. Water is the softest substance on earth, but it is water that pierces stone, not by the force of impact, but by the constancy of touch. This is how spiritual practice works too. You don't transform your life with one heroic effort. You transform it with small daily practices. Drop by drop, day by day. Earth gives us understanding of stability and patience. Plant a seed today. You won't see a tree tomorrow. But if you're patient, in 20 years, there will be a mighty oak here. Your dreams are seeds. Most people plant them and dig them up a week later to check if they've grown. And then they complain that nothing works. Earth teaches us to trust the process. There's an ancient parable. Bamboo grows underground for 5 years without showing a single sprout. The farmer continues to water the ground, though he sees no result. And in the 5th year, the bamboo grows 30 meters in 6 weeks. Question: how long did it take the bamboo to grow? 6 weeks or 5 years? 5 years. All that time it was developing a root system underground. Air reminds us of the invisible. You don't see air, but it fills your lungs right now, sustaining your life. The spiritual world works the same way, invisible, but absolutely real. Wind is the movement of air. It's invisible, but you see its effect. Trees sway, leaves fly, clouds drift. Your thoughts work the same way, invisible, but their effect is obvious in your life. The third secret knowledge is about cycles. Nature lives in cycles. Day replaces night, winter replaces summer, life replaces death. This is not a linear process, it's a spiral. Modern humans fear cycles, especially dark phases. We want eternal summer, eternal day, eternal growth. But nature shows that this is impossible and even harmful. Winter is not death, it's preparation for new life. A seed must spend time in the darkness of the earth to sprout. A caterpillar must enclose itself in a cocoon to become a butterfly. When winter comes in your life, job loss, relationship breakup, crisis of faith, it's not the end, it's transformation. You're not falling down. You're going deep to later soar higher. I know a person who lost everything at 40. Business collapsed, wife left, health deteriorated. He moved to the village to his parents. Every day he walked in the forest, just walked and observed. There he saw a stump of an old tree from which 3 young shoots were growing. The dead tree was giving life to new ones. This was his revelation. 2 years later, he created a new business built on his true values. Now he's happier than he's ever been. He understood something important. In nature, there is no waste. Everything serves something. Fallen leaves become fertilizer. A dead tree becomes home for insects that feed birds, that spread seeds of new trees. Your failures in life work the same way. They're not waste from your biography. They're fertilizer for your future growth. The fourth secret knowledge is about unity. In nature, everything is connected. A tree depends on soil, soil on microorganisms, microorganisms on fallen leaves from the tree. This is a cycle of interdependence. We think we're separate from nature, from other people, from the whole world. This is an illusion that causes most of our suffering. When you sit in the forest and observe a spider web, You see a physical metaphor of reality. Each thread is connected to others. Touch one. The vibration spreads throughout the entire web. Your thoughts are vibrations. Your actions are vibrations. They spread through the invisible web of reality and return to you. Nature calls this the law of cause and effect. Some call it karma. Here's a concrete example. Scientists discovered that when wolves were returned to Yellowstone Park after 70 years of absence, not only did the deer population change, the rivers changed. Sounds incredible, right? How can wolves change rivers? But the connection is direct. Wolves began hunting deer. Deer stopped grazing in certain valleys. Trees grew there. Tree roots strengthened the banks. Rivers changed their course. One change, wolves, triggered a cascade of consequences that transformed the entire ecosystem. Your life works the same way. One conscious action can trigger a chain of events that transforms your entire reality. The fifth secret knowledge concerns silence. In nature, there is a special silence. It's not the absence of sounds. There are plenty of sounds. It's the silence of the mind. Birds sing, leaves rustle, a stream babbles. But in all this, there is deep silence. This is the silence of presence. Nature doesn't worry about the past and doesn't fret about the future. It simply is, here and now. When you immerse yourself in this silence, your mind begins to work differently. The constant chatter of thoughts disappears. You begin to hear the voice of intuition, quiet but clear. Great revelations don't come in city noise. They come in the silence of nature. Buddha achieved enlightenment under a tree. Moses received the commandments on a mountain. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert. Muhammad received revelation in a cave. Do you see the pattern? They all left civilization for nature, not because nature is magical, but because there you can hear that very quiet voice that is drowned out in urban bustle. There's a practice I do regularly. I call it sitting in forest silence. I find a place in the forest, sit down, close my eyes, and just listen. I don't try to meditate or do anything. Just listen. The first 10 minutes, my mind rebels. To-do lists, worries, plans. But if I stay with this, without fighting it, gradually the mind calms down, and then insights come. Solutions to problems, creative ideas. They come not because I was looking for them, but because I created space for their appearance. The sixth secret knowledge is about accepting death. Nature doesn't fear death. It integrates it as part of life. A leaf falls from a tree, becomes part of the soil, nourishes new trees. Our fear of death is the root of most of our problems. We cling to youth, to the past, to outdated beliefs. We're afraid to let go because we fear there will be nothing after. But nature shows that after death always comes new life. Not necessarily in the same form, but energy never disappears. It transforms. Autumn is not a tragedy for a tree. It's wisdom. The tree releases leaves to conserve energy for winter and prepare for spring. If it clung to every leaf, it would die. Think about your life. What are you clinging to that it's time to release? An old grudge, a toxic relationship, a job that sucks your soul, an outdated version of yourself? Nature teaches us, to be born anew, you need to allow something to die. Don't fear the small death. It's the beginning of new life. The seventh secret knowledge is about beauty. Nature is uselessly beautiful. A sunset over the ocean serves no one but itself. A flower in the depths of the forest blooms, even if no one ever sees it. This teaches us something important. Your value doesn't depend on how useful or productive you are. You are valuable simply because you exist. Like this flower, like this sunset. The modern world tells you that you must do something, achieve, produce. Nature whispers, just be. Your existence is already a miracle. This is not a call to passivity. It's an invitation to a different kind of action. Action that comes not from deficiency, but from fullness. Not from fear, but from love. A tree doesn't try to be a tree. It simply grows being itself. And in this process, it gives shade, oxygen, food, home for birds. All this is a side effect of it simply being itself. It's the same with you. When you stop trying to meet others' expectations and start living from your true essence, your gifts naturally serve the world. The eighth secret knowledge is about diversity. In nature, there are no two identical snowflakes, no two identical leaf prints. Every creature is unique. We try to stuff ourselves into templates, standard education, typical career, society-approved goals. But your soul is wild and unique, like this forest. Imagine if an oak tried to grow like a pine, because that's correct. It would die. But an oak grows as an oak, a pine grows as a pine. And this makes the forest richer. An ecosystem is strong in its diversity. Monoculture is vulnerable. One disease can destroy an entire field. But in a diverse forest, one disease cannot destroy everything because there are hundreds of different species. It's the same with human society. Our strength is in diversity. Different talents, different paths, different ways of seeing the world. When you try to be like everyone else, you impoverish not only yourself, but the entire collective organism of humanity. The ninth secret knowledge is about generosity. An apple tree gives hundreds of apples. It doesn't ask if you deserve them. A river flows for everyone. The sun shines on the righteous and sinners equally. Nature lives in abundance, not in scarcity. It was humans who created the concept of lack in nature. There is always enough for everyone who lives in harmony with its rhythms. When you open your heart, like an apple tree opens its branches, you discover that you always have something to give. Not because you should, but because it's your nature. Think about it. An apple tree doesn't worry. What if I give all my apples and I won't have enough? It gives because it's its nature, and next year it will give again. Scarcity is an illusion of a mind living in fear. Abundance is the reality of a heart living in love. The 10th secret knowledge is about the presence of the higher, call it God, the universe, higher consciousness. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that nature is its manifestation. When you stand on a mountaintop and look at infinity, you feel something greater than yourself. This is not fantasy. This is direct contact with the transcendent. Churches and temples are created by humans to remind us of the sacred. But the first temple is nature itself. Cathedrals of sequoia forests, altars of mountain peaks, holy water of living rivers. Albert Einstein said, there are two ways to live your life. The first is as though nothing is a miracle. The second is as though everything is a miracle. Nature constantly reminds us of the second way. The 11th secret knowledge is about breathing. Plants inhale carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen. We inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. We literally breathe with each other. This is not a poetic metaphor. This is a physiological fact. Each of your breaths contains molecules that were exhaled by a tree. Each tree's exhalation contains molecules that you inhaled. We are not separate from nature. We participate in the single breath of life. This understanding can completely change your relationship with the world. When you walk in the forest, try this practice. Realize that with each breath, you accept the gift of trees. With each exhalation, you give a gift to trees. This is a sacred exchange. This is a dance of interdependence. The 12th secret knowledge is about time. In nature, there is no hurry, but everything is achieved. A tree doesn't rush to grow, but in 100 years it becomes a giant. A river doesn't hurry to the ocean, but inevitably reaches it. Modern life is obsessed with speed. We want instant results, quick solutions, immediate transformations. But deep change requires time. Nature teaches us patience, not as passive waiting, but as active trust in the process. A gardener doesn't pull a plant to make it grow faster. He creates conditions and trusts nature to do its work. It's the same in your spiritual development. You can't force awakening, but you can create conditions. Regular practice, time in nature, contemplation, honesty with yourself, and then trust the process. The 13th secret knowledge is about returning home. Nature is not a place we go to, it's the place we came from. And when we return to nature, we return to ourselves. Indigenous peoples have a concept. Earth is not what we inherited from our ancestors. It's what we borrowed from our children. This is a radically different understanding of our place in the world. You don't own this planet. You're not even a tenant. You are part of this planet, a cell in the body of a larger organism. When a cell forgets it's part of the body and starts living only for itself, we call it cancer. When humanity forgets it's part of nature and starts living only for itself, it's also a form of cancer. But the cure is simple: to remember who we really are. Now let's talk about the practical application of this knowledge. Because knowledge without practice is just philosophy, and we need transformation. Practice 1, daily date with nature. Set aside 20 minutes every day. Yes, every day. Not when there's time. Make this a priority. Your spiritual health is worth 20 minutes. Find a place, a park, a square, a riverbank, even a tree in the yard. Come there without your phone, without headphones, without distractions. Just be there. Observe, breathe, listen. Do this in any weather. Yes, even when it's raining or snowing. Nature is beautiful in all its manifestations, and each weather teaches you something new. Practice 2, choose a teacher. Find one tree that will become your personal teacher. Visit it regularly, once a week or more often. Observe how it changes with the seasons. Touch it, sit next to it, talk to it. Yes, out loud if no one's around. Share your problems, dreams, fears. The tree won't judge you, it will simply be present. And over time, you'll notice something amazing. You'll start receiving answers, not in words, but in insights, feelings. Knowing the tree will teach you patience, resilience, the ability to let go of the old and accept the new. Practice 3, 4 elements meditation. Once a week, meditate with each element. Monday, fire. Light a candle or build a campfire. Look into the flame. Allow fire to burn your old patterns, fears, limitations. Wednesday, water. Sit by a river, stream, or even turn on water at home. Listen to its flow. Feel how water teaches you flexibility and acceptance. Friday, earth. Touch the earth with your hands. Best of all, stand barefoot on grass or soil. Feel the stability and support of earth. Sunday, air. Find an open place. Feel the wind on your skin. Take deep, conscious breaths. Connect with the invisible force that gives you life. Practice 4, sunrise or sunset ritual. Choose one, sunrise or sunset, and at least once a week observe it from beginning to end. Don't photograph, just observe. Sunrise teaches you about beginnings, possibilities. Hope sunset teaches you about endings. Letting go, gratitude. Both are important for the fullness of life. Practice 5, gratitude to nature. Every evening before sleep, name 3 things you're grateful to nature for on this day. It could be sunlight that warmed you in the morning, air you breathed, water you drank, a tree you passed under. This simple practice reprograms your brain. Instead of perceiving nature as background, you'll start seeing it as a living presence that constantly supports your life. Practice 6, lunar cycles. Start tracking moon phases and noticing how they affect your state. New moon is time for planting new intentions. Full moon is time for completion and releasing. Our ancestors lived by the lunar calendar. Women's cycles are synchronized with the moon. Ocean tides follow the moon. We're part of this rhythm, even if we've forgotten about it. Try meditating under the full moon. Go outside if possible. Feel how moonlight touches your skin. The ancients knew that moonlight has a different quality than sunlight. It activates intuition, feminine energy, the subconscious. Practice 7. Technology fast in nature. Once a month, spend at least 4 hours in nature without your phone. Yes, completely turn it off or leave it at home. The first 2 hours will be difficult. You'll feel anxiety, desire to check notifications. This is withdrawal syndrome from digital addiction. But if you stay with this discomfort, a shift will occur. Your senses will become sharper. You'll start noticing details you usually miss. The song of a specific bird, the texture of bark on a specific tree, the pattern of clouds in the sky. You'll return to the present moment, to real life. Practice 8. Collecting nature treasures. Create a nature altar at home. This could be a small shelf or corner. Collect objects there that you find in nature, and that means something to you. A stone you picked up on a mountaintop, a bird feather found in the forest, a shell from the beach, a dried flower. Each object is a reminder of your connection with nature, of a specific moment of presence. When you feel lost or disconnected from yourself, approach this altar. Touch the objects. Remember the moments when you found them. This will return you to yourself. Practice 9. Sound meditation. Sit in nature with closed eyes. Don't try to meditate in the traditional sense. Just listen to the sounds around you. At first you'll hear obvious sounds, bird songs, rustling leaves, but if you continue listening deeper, you'll start hearing layers. Distant sounds, subtle sounds, silence between sounds. This trains not only hearing, but also awareness, the ability to perceive nuances, to be present on different levels simultaneously. Practice 10. Movement as meditation. Don't just walk through nature, move consciously. Feel how your feet touch the ground, how arms swing in rhythm with steps, how the body moves in space. Or try animal movement practice. Observe animals in nature, how a cat, bird, lizard moves. Try to copy their movement. This isn't silly, it's an ancient shamanic practice. When you move like an animal, you come out of your head into your body. You connect to instinctive wisdom that lives in your body but is blocked by the mind. Practice 11. Nature journal. Start a special journal for nature notes. This is not a scientific journal. It's a place for your observations, feelings, insights. Write down what you noticed during a walk, how your state changed, what thoughts came, what signs nature showed you. Yes, signs. Don't dismiss this as superstition. Synchronicity is real. Sometimes nature answers your questions through symbols. You're thinking about a problem, and suddenly you see a snake shedding its skin. This is not coincidence. Practice 12. Seasonal rituals. Mark the change of seasons with conscious rituals. This doesn't have to be complex ceremonies. It can be simple. First day of spring, plant a seed. Physically plant something in the ground, and simultaneously plant an intention in your life. First day of summer, meet the dawn. Feel the peak of power and energy. First day of autumn, release something old. Write on paper what you're ready to free yourself from and burn it. First day of winter, enter silence. Spend a day in minimal activity, more contemplating than doing. Practice 13. Teach others. When you start practicing these methods, share them. Take a friend on a forest walk. Show a child how to listen to bird songs. Tell a colleague about the benefits of time in nature. Teaching others deepens your own understanding, and you become part of a chain of knowledge transmission that has lasted millennia. But here's what's important to understand. These practices are not a list of obligations. They're invitations to exploration. Choose those that resonate with your heart. Start with 1 or 2. Do them regularly until they become a natural part of your life. And remember, the goal is not to become a spiritual person. The goal is to become yourself, your true, whole, alive self. Nature won't do this for you, but it will create space in which this can happen. There's one more important aspect that needs to be said. Connection with nature is not escapism. It's not running from reality. It's returning to reality. The illusion is not nature. The illusion is the belief that you're separate from everything else, that you can live without caring for earth, air, water, that your actions have no consequences. When you deepen your connection with nature, you become more responsible. Not from a sense of guilt, but from a sense of love. You can't continue harming what you feel connected to. This naturally changes your lifestyle. You start making choices that support life, not destroy it. Not because you should, but because you can't do otherwise. And here a miracle happens when you start living in harmony with nature. Your life starts flowing easier. Synchronicities increase, doors open, opportunities appear. This is not magic, it's physics. When you swim against a river's current, you quickly tire. When you swim with the current, the river carries you. Nature is the current of life. When you align with it, everything becomes easier. The last thing I want to say, this connection with nature is not the final goal. It's a portal to something greater that cannot be expressed in words. When you stand on a mountaintop and look at infinity, when you sit by a campfire and watch the dance of flame, when you listen to the whisper of wind in branches, in these moments, something in you recognizes something in the world. This recognition is the most important thing that can happen to a person. It's the moment when you remember. You remember who you really are, where you came from, where you're going. And in this remembering is freedom from fear, from clinging, from the illusion of separateness. You understand that you're not a small ego struggling for survival. You are a manifestation of the same force that created mountains and oceans. This knowledge doesn't inflate your ego, it dissolves it. Because if you're a manifestation of this force, then every other person is too, and every tree, and every bird. There's no one who is higher or lower. There is only one life, dancing in endless forms. Now you know the 13 secret knowledge principles that the ancients passed from generation to generation. Nature is not just environment. It's the greatest spiritual teacher available to each of us at any moment. This knowledge is not theory, it's practice. Go outside today, find a tree, touch it, feel the connection. This is not the end. It's the beginning of your journey to your true self. If this video opens something new for you, hit the like button. If we reach 5,000 likes, I'll film a continuation where I'll show on video specific practices for working with each element. I'll take the camera and go to the forest, to the mountain, to the river, and we'll perform real transformation rituals together. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss this. Click the bell to receive notifications. Write in the comments which of the 13 knowledge principles resonated with you most, or share your story of connection with nature. I read every comment, and remember the most important thing. Every step in nature is a step toward your true self. Every breath of forest is the breath of your soul. Every moment of presence is a moment of awakening. Don't put this off until tomorrow. Nature is waiting for you right now. It has always waited. It has never stopped calling you home. Walk this path. Open your heart. Allow nature to teach you what your mind can never understand, but your soul has always known. See you in the next video. May the wisdom of nature fill your life with light, strength, and love. May each of your days be a walk in the sacred forest of your own soul. Namaste. I see the divine in you because I see nature in you, and nature is the divine dancing in form.